you take Marvel and DC? Like, what level do you put them at when it comes to Marvel and DC? Because, and I'm bringing this up because so many people, like, I have friends that go, "Wait, is this the first black superhero?" I'm like, "Well, kind of." I mean, I've always loved Blade because it's one of the few superheroes I can have. But I mean, Blade vampire movie. I mean, that's not a very family friendly. It's rated R. I mean,
Right.
they're always saying, "I'm gonna kill you, Daywalker. I'm gonna kill you, motherfucker." Like they're saying it the whole movie. So that, I mean, Spawn too as well. Spawn of Hell,
Rated R. Yeah.
like rated R movies. Like they're just really hardcore, real. It wasn't like, and it's very hard because a lot of people will sit there and say things like, "Well, they thought, or, because some women were saying they liked that Wonder Woman was the first, actual, leading female hero out there in terms of a movie."
Hmm.
But they were like, "No, well, what about Underworld? Well, what about, all these other movies that are like, bro, you know how sad that is though." When I'm talking about Marvel and DC, I'm talking about like the friendly, the big, it's so hard to explain, where everybody generally is going to know what you're talking about type heroes. You know what I mean? Like the main ones.
Well, Black Panther itself, its history,
Hmm.
going to the source material, you're dealing with the comics. This was a comic that was made in the '60s.
Hmm.
In a time where it was not popular to depict a black superhero in a positive light. And what makes Black Panther unique in comparison to Blade and Spawn, like you mentioned,
Hmm.
it deals with the origin and the genesis of the character coming from
Right.
Africa, where you originate from, which pretty much everybody originates from.
Right.
And for them to create a comic, it's funny. I was reading, Jack Kirby did the run of Black Panther, and I believe, and someone could maybe correct me if I'm wrong as far as which book it was, but he did one of the runs. Some executive came to him and said that he needs more white characters in the next issue of Black Panther. So this man,
Wait, when was this? What
this
date
was
period?
back in the '60s.
Mm.
So this man goes ahead and he says, "Oh, okay." He basically has Black Panther fight the KKK next. And that, like, when you look at that, like that, I think that's funny. Number one, just
All
because
right.
to put it's like, okay, I can put them in there. But it's even Black Panther's history is so big, and the fact that it was that they went to Africa,
Oh,
the
can we
origin.
get this on screen?
Here's the issue right here.
Oh shit! What's it? In Heart of the Civilization, T'Challa battles the primitive power of the clan.
Yeah.
Damn! Sacrifice of blood. Look at him just getting that uppercut, almost knocking that mask off. That is hilarious. Wow.
But yeah, it's the history.
Yeah.
It's the origin of the character. Being from Africa. I think, and the fact that it's an advanced nation. This is not a. They didn't depict this as a third world country. They depicted this world of Wakanda as a technological marvel.
Mm-hmm.
So much more advanced than any of the outside world, and they protect themselves, and they keep that technology to themselves and away from the outside world because they are afraid of what the world may do if they find out what Wakanda really is about.
Mm.
But I think that Black Panther's history and why this movie is such a big deal in comparison to like Blade and Spawn. Like Blade was great, and I'll be honest with you, I'm a huge fan of number one.
We're gonna be familiars in the Blade 4. We're gonna
Right.
be familiars.
The first Blade I thought was an amazing movie, and I even thought Blade 2 was an amazing movie.
Mm-hmm.
Blade 3, not so much. I ain't really a fan of the third one.
So I thought it
But
was kind of cool.
all the movies were successful. The franchise was successful
Mm-hmm.
financially by Marvel. That was actually the very first financially successful Marvel movie. Now, granted, now we're dealing with studios. New Line owned the movie rights to Blade. So they're the ones who made the movie, but Marvel Comics because of the inspiration. And we owe a lot to that because a lot of movies, they built off that. But Blade never touched on the fact that he was a black character. It was
Right.
never emphasized in that movie. Now you saw him as a black character, and everybody enjoyed him regardless of what race and ethnicity he was. But Black Panther's origin is such deep rooted in dealing with race. Like there are comic issues, like the one I just mentioned that you showed, dealing with him fighting the Klan. Like what comic book would have that in there? You know what I mean? And there's other ones where Captain America,
Nat Turner.
he's fighting he's fighting the Nazis and stuff like that. But it's real. It's means something.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's really why the importance is funny, because with Wesley Snipes in the 90s, he was supposed to play Black Panther.
Oh, wow.
But basically it was taking too long. The movie studios weren't getting the script right and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so New Line ended up contacting Wesley Snipes to do Blade. So he went on and did that. So basically Black Panther never got off the ground. But I think it's a good thing because we're able to see Black Panther. I don't... basically with a big budget, people need to understand that this movie had almost a $200 million budget. This is the biggest budget for a cast that's all black. Like this is the biggest budget you ever seen. Ryan Coogler, coming from Oakland, went to Sac State, given this budget and did an amazing job. And he's 3 for 3 now, because if you look at his directing debuts, he's the one who directed Fruitvale Station, which is about Oscar Grant getting shot by the cops, and then he also did Creed, who also had Michael B. Jordan. Michael B. Jordan's actually worked in all 3 of his movies. Mm-hmm. He played Oscar Grant, played Adonis Creed, and he played Eric Killmonger in this, and that's a big milestone as well. And what's sad about it is it shouldn't be a milestone. Yeah. And I think that's the reason why a lot of black people, this is a big thing. And I've been seeing on social media a lot of people saying we're doing too much and stuff like that. Who gives a fuck? We happy, we excited that we're actually being depicted in a way that's not in a negative light, and it also has connection with other superheroes that mean just the same. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what, to me, why it's doing so well financially. It's doing so well on reviews. I mean, if you look at Rotten Tomatoes, I think it's at 95% by the critics.
Which we think that's okay. Don't have to be perfect. Damn.
Right. So I think I just feel like there's a lot of people out there that are looking at it maybe negatively, and I don't think it's that many, but there's some people who are looking at it negatively because they feel like that we're putting too much hype on the movie. And I think people are just excited, just genuinely excited to see a success like this, not just a black movie. Because if it was just that, we could just all go see some Tyler Perry shit.
Right.
You know what I mean? I can go see Boo 2 or fucking Medea Christmas or something like that. But this was bigger than that. This was a big budget with class act actors. You got people like Forrest Whitaker and Angela Bassett. They've been acting forever. Forrest Whitaker's an Academy Award winner. You know what I mean? Like you got major talent in this film, and your director, major talent coming off 2 amazing movies that he made. Like it just all came together, and I think that's where the emotion is happening, especially when you watch the film in the audience and you saw people and you just listening to everyone's reaction as they're watching it based on scene after scene after scene. That was just an amazing experience, especially me seeing it twice. I was able to see so many different reactions.
Yeah, man. It was really good. I don't know, and it means a lot because a lot of people just say, why do you have to put emphasis on the fact that he's black? Outside of the fact that we can relate with a lot of characters, I mean, there might be someone that could relate with Warmonger. I mean, who knows? I mean, it is what it is, but it's like ultimately though. Oh wait, did I say his name right?
Killmonger.
Or Killmonger. I don't know what's Warmonger. Killmonger. But to me, it's like we could relate on so many levels because we never had that mainstream hero. We've never had that, like a mainstream hero. And then, why does race have to be an issue? Again, like I said, because the other characters we couldn't relate too much with. This one, from Africa, I mean, he is black. I mean, he's doing cool shit, blowing shit up. Like it's someone, that we can relate to more than Wolverine or Superman or somebody else that doesn't have my pigmentation. I mean, yes, it's obvious I'm black. Yes, it's obvious you're white and that character's white. To us, it just means a little more. It's like, cool. It's like, damn, how about you try going your whole 30 years of your life and all heroes are black and all of a sudden a white character comes out of nowhere. You're kind of like, oh shit, a white one. Hey, that's kind of cool. Fuck. Like it makes you excited. You just will naturally become more excited about that,
Exactly.
and that's just why I wish people took it that way because we don't. We'll get more into that here in a little bit